Captain Picard, at last. We have been trying to reach you for 2 days.
Our communications have been blocked by the nebula, Riken.
Hello, welcome back to Star Trek Sodium. In this exciting late Season 3 classic, we are witness to the devious scheme of one Damon Togg, who kidnapped Deanna Troi, Riker and Roxana Troi in a bid to use the psychic powers of the Beta Z ladies to give him an edge in business. And now on to the facts for the episode that you didn't even know. This was one of the rare occasions that an actor was actually getting involved with the creation of the episode. Marina Citrus approached famed writer Susan Sackett with her idea of Troi and her mother being abducted by the Ferengis. Citrus had previously acknowledged that her father-in-law in real life was similar looking to a Ferengi and thought that a Ferengi character based on him would be a truly blockbuster idea, and so Damon Togg was invented. In fact, Damon Togg is allegedly an anagram of her father-in-law's name. Nearly everything that happens in this episode is a dramatized fiction based on what possibly happened in her real life. We all know that the title of this episode is Menage a Troi, but did you even know that other names for the episode were on early versions of the script? Other names for the episode that didn't quite cut it were Damon Trouble, Troy's Trouble, Three in a Bed, Star Debris, Troi Debris, Star in a Bed, Lucille, The Trouble with Troy's, and finally, The Trouble with Three in a Bed with Troy's. This title wasn't used though, as the Star Trek writers went with the name Menage a Troi, which is the name that the episode has. In a Blink or You'll Miss It cameo, Alexander Courage possibly makes a Blink or You'll Miss It cameo in this episode. The Star Trek theme music actor appears in the background as Lieutenant Pepperjack in one of the scenes in 10 Forward. Although he was never asked to come back after this, the producers were supposedly semi-happy with the perplexing performance by the Star Trek music legend. Star Trek VI, The Unforgiven Country, was being filmed in Star Trek Studio 9 at the same time as Menage a Troi. In the scene in Star Trek VI with the realistic blood floating around, this was taking place just meters away from Captain Picard, talking to his crew on the bridge about something or other. While the soapy TNG cameras were rolling, some of the floating Klingon blood was reportedly drifting over to the TNG set by mistake, getting closer and closer, as the blood-floating machine hadn't been properly tested yet or even calibrated very well. Filming had to stop for The Next Generation, as Patrick Stewart, Lever Burton and the others used copies of their scripts to waft away the realistic blood. In the end, they had to wait for over half an hour until the Star Trek VI team finally decided to calibrate their damned blood machine. Those of you with eagle eyes will of course have noticed that Gates McSomething isn't in this episode. That's because she was possibly off at the Fox Studios auditioning for the part of the mother in Home Alone, an upcoming children's Christmas movie. Thankfully though, she didn't get the part, as she was told that she looked much too old, and so she was back at Star Trek the next week for the crucial episode Transfigurations. This episode features the highly regarded classic Star Trek character of Damon Togg, played handsomely by Frank Corsentino, who appears in the episode as Damon Togg. What you didn't realise, though, is that the first choice for this character was actually famed serial Ferengi actor Armin Shimmerman. Armin was contacted to play the part of Damon Togg, but unfortunately disaster had struck. Armin Shimmerman allegedly was working as a lifeguard at Malibu Beach, which he did 3 times a week on a voluntary basis to help keep the naive tourists safe when he was accidentally stung by a shark while trying to shoo away a herd of octopuses. With Armin out of the picture, the second choice was, of course, young Frank Corsentino, who had put on a lucid performance. Menage a Troi is the hensing episode that introduces the concept of Umox to the world of Star Trek. Reportedly, Berman was sitting alone at home by himself one lonely evening when he realized that rubbing his
Umox is only the beginning.
The William Frakes actor, Riker, had been to his friend's birthday party the evening prior to filming the episode Menage a Troi, and the glitter that had infiltrating his beard at the party was heartwarming to all that saw it. Frakes had filmed 2 scenes when the director finally noticed the glistening glitter on Riker's beard and immediately told him to go and vigorously wash his chin with unglittering soap. Rumour has it that Rick's nephew, Nick, had been given permission to set up a snack concession stand in the entrance to the Star Trek Studio 9. Every time one of the actors or production crew walked past, Nick would offer them a Mars bar or maybe a can of Pepsi. As a 25% owner of Nick's snack company, Rick would be making some sweet cash on the side from this inventive idea, until a certain bald-as-a-cooch Star Trek actor complained that all of the sugar on offer was bad for the lifestyle of high-class actors. Rick told his nephew to go and sell his sweet treats elsewhere, which wouldn't be much of a problem in the long term, as Nick was smashed to bits by a stolen car only 2 weeks later from his new roadside position. After months of asking Michael Piller and Rick Berman how much longer they had to keep the Wesley character around for, Gates McSomething was excited to read in the script for Menage a Troi that the phasing out of Wesley had begun. The seeds of his leaving for Starfleet Academy had been sown, for which he allegedly hugged Michael Piller and screamed with glee. Those present at the time would possibly report that young Wheaton asked exactly why McSomething was so happy, but none of them had the guts to tell him. Thanks ever so much for checking out my super facts all about the tremendous episode Menage a Troi. We've nearly finished Season 3 of Star Trek Next Generation, but if you're one of the sappy sods who hasn't watched all of my facts videos up until this point, go back and check them out. There's a few more. There's facts videos for every episode of Star Trek Next Generation up until this point. Go and watch them. You might learn a thing or two. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that stuff, and I'll see you next time. All the best, guys. Ta-ta!